Hey guys, so this is gonna be a video on how to stop a 10 gate, and I will try to go over 10 gates that are proxied and 10 gates that aren't proxied. Obviously 10 gates that are proxied are a lot harder to stop because the rush distance is a lot slower. So let me just jump into the game. 10 gate. So let's see what replay to look at first. Which one? This is a. Alright, so this is a proxy. This is when the 10 gate is proxied. It's a very difficult thing to stop, and I think the best response is to build a wall, 2 depots, and a bunker, or even build your starting depot over here and then add a bunker and another depot when you scout the 10 gate coming. And then you can just completely wall off the Protoss, and all you have to do is repair your wall, and you'll have a bunker to keep your Marines alive, hopefully. One of the downfalls to that, well, I scout when my SCV is done, and one of the downfalls to that is that you have to, I try to scout at the latest possible time, so you really have to commit really fast to it. Like, I will end up seeing the cybernetics core being finished and there's a pylon missing, and what this guy's doing, he's not going in just yet because he knows that I haven't scouted him yet, so I don't know if he's going for 10 gate. And this is just me not knowing if there's a 10 gate or not. I should really check over there. I do that now, just like swing by with the SCV before I build my expansion. So I see a gas and a cybernetics core almost done, and this instantly screams 10 gate. So my response, well, he's already sending out the zealots, so that was really nice of him to save it. And I think the only reason I win here is because of a micro error. So I run all my SCVs away. I don't want to lose too many workers, and I don't want to fight 2 zealots and a probe versus SCVs because I think 2 zealots and a probe have enough damage to one hit an SCV. And I'm also going to build a second barracks because I don't need a command center just yet. I want a second barracks to start producing Marines. So I throw that down in like a kind of far away location, so he doesn't necessarily, like, he doesn't even see it yet, which is great. So, and this stalker right here, this is like the only reason why I win this, because he has his units isolated, and so when his stalker comes out, I'm able to just surround it. Yeah, and then I also get kind of lucky on getting that surround as well. And surrounding stalkers is the only kind of unit you want to surround. And notice how I'm not surrounding the zealot, and then I'm gonna be running my SCVs away. And I also want to try to mine a bit of as much gas as possible so I can keep making Reapers. I targeted the probe down first because it dies easier, and then I'm going to target the zealots. So I keep running my SCVs away. The important thing is that I've only lost 6 SCVs so far. And if you lose too many SCVs, then you're just going to automatically die. And once you get 3 Reapers out, 3 Reapers is when you can actually start fighting stalkers one-on-one. That was sloppy by me, but see, 2 Reapers, they just do enough damage to be able to kill a stalker. So as long as he doesn't have a mothership core, which he did, he brought his mothership core over. And this is when the 2 barracks come in handy, because they allow me to produce enough Marines without just getting smashed. And I get really fortunate again being able to pick off his mothership core, and that gives these Reapers a lot of harass time. And I'm already starting to build up some defense. My bunker is kind of placed badly. It should be over here covering my choke, but that's not the biggest deal because he's already lost all of his units. And since he lost the mothership core, it's the only reason my Reapers are able to do this backlash and get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 workers, and that evens up the probe lead or the worker count and puts me very, very far ahead of him. And at this point, I am ahead in all aspects. I have more production than he does. I have more workers and economy. So I'm in a pretty good spot. But once again, I don't suggest doing exactly what I did. I just, like, if you do get caught down with your pants, I guess the first lesson here, oh, I have to use a new phrase now. If you get caught using peeing in a public restroom or a public area, then your best bet is to really try to micro and preserve your units. So obviously you don't, like, a panic move would be to pull all your SCVs. Oh, and I cancel the reactor and make a Reaper immediately. And the second racks, because I did not build my command center, so I have extra minerals to commit to defenses. But anyways, so you don't want to panic and, like, pull all your SCVs and try to surround the 2 zealots in the probe, because you're gonna lose your you're gonna lose all your SCVs if you try to do that, which is not great. That's why I try to keep them alive long enough so that the Reaper can get out and deal with these units. Now this is one variation where you build 2 zealots and then you build stalkers. This was very all in. I think the most common thing, let me just check. We're gonna hop into the hero versus Pult replay. I think the most common way to do it is to get a zealot and then 2 stalkers, but I might be getting that mixed up with standard mothership core pressure. This is the game between the 2 players. It's the rematch game on Heavy Rain after Pult forced to draw. So this is a proxy 10 gate. It's the hardest of them all to stop. It's the one ring to rule them all, or the one pylon, that is. And I'm pretty sure Pult builds, I don't know if he builds this depot here because he knows he needs to wall off against it, or because he doesn't realize that if you build it over here, it won't get sniped off by stalkers in the mothership core. I'm not too sure why he builds that depot there, but I'm not completely against it either, because in these situations, it already helps to have a portion of the wall completed off. So let's see what Hero's gonna do. He's gonna rush right up to stalkers, basically. So Chrono the Zealot out, and it's great placement by Hero. If you can scout it immediately, you're in a great position. So this is the best case scenario for Hero. Okay, so I guess he does get a second Zealot out, and he does end up waiting. So let's see what Pult's reaction is. This is the time that Pult is gonna know that there's a 10 gate coming. What does he have going? He has an expansion and he has a reactor. So his first 2 things are gonna have to be to cancel the expansion, cancel the reactor, and I think the best case, or the best way to deal with the 10 gate is, as soon as you know it's coming, to just wall off bunker and depot. Like, he ends up keeping the command center. Okay, he cancels it now, and see, he starts to wall off now, but it's too late. And if he was able to like build the depot and the supply depot at the same time, then the zealots wouldn't be on this side attacking SCVs, and Pult is in a pickle right now because he needs to use SCVs to fight to get this bunker up. Yeah, it's just not very cost effective. He's already down, oh god, 8 workers. 2 zealots killed 8 workers, with the Reaper helping them. So if you can get a surround on a stalker with probes, it's always worth it, even if the zealots are going to attack it for a little bit, because stalker, they're kind of like slower versions of Reapers. They're very, very mobile. Alright, so Pult has basically held it off now. He has a semi-wall, but he is in a crappy position. He had to cancel his command center, and he waited to build to finish the reactor, and then build more units. And I honestly think Reapers are better units than Mothership Core. Oh wow, and so this is different from the game I played because I believe Hero waited to build the Mothership Core until around the time that he started his Nexus. So this is a very economical 10 gate, and any workers he can kill are great for him, and he was able to kill a lot of workers. But yeah, so I think the best response is as soon as you scout it, and Pult scouts with this SCV when the Rax finishes as well. Right, there we go. Let's go to Pult's view. Alright, so nope. I want to follow the SCV. There we go. Huh. It's not fast. It lags behind. Alright, so Pult's response was alright, but it could have been better. So he sees now. He sees there's a 10 gate now. So when you see there's a 10 gate, cancel the command center, cancel the reactor, make another Reaper, and make a bunker and a supply depot immediately. So let's see, it's 3:50 now, and he knows that there's a 10 gate coming. Let's see how long before he actually builds it. Okay, so he builds a bunker immediately. He just doesn't build. He could have built a supply depot as well, but he chose not to. Oh, and then so he waited almost 10 seconds before he started to build a bunker. I guess he just wasn't well prepared for what Hero was doing. It has become a lot more popular after Hero showcased the 10 gate, but I guess Paul just didn't have a good response for it, and now if he walled off at the same time he built the bunker, which he definitely could have, because he built the bunker and he's not trying to wall off. But if he built the bunker in the depot, the Zealots wouldn't be on this side, and they would only be able to attack buildings, which is the best case scenario. And you can have your Reaper on the other side doing free damage. So it puts a timer on the Zealots, and by the time the Stalker comes, your bunker would already be done. Or it would be close to being finished, and it's okay to lose like an SCV or two just to finish the bunker up. And then you're completely safe against this attack, and you wouldn't lose 8 workers, and you'd be in an alright position. And in this case, if he did wall off, I don't think he might not even need to make a second barracks. I just like to make the second barracks because it adds some harass potential, because I crank out 3 Reapers really quickly, and 3 Reapers kill probes really fast. And against, like, his gateway is going to be out of position, and his mothership core, like, he doesn't even have a mothership core yet. Let's see when Hero makes it. Okay, so he makes it about when he expands. Even if you have a mothership core like this, 3 Reapers are going to be able to pick off 1 to 2 probes on the outskirts. So it's guaranteed damage, and plus you can also come in for a stronger scouting ability as well. See, this Reaper gets 0 kills and doesn't do any economic damage. So yeah, that's what I think Pult could have done better, is to just completely wall off. He definitely had the time. He purposefully chose not to, though, and that cost him dearly. Now, even though the next game I'm going to show you guys, even though it isn't even though it isn't proxy 10 gate, it's still a 10 gate, and all the proxy does is add about, I guess, like 10 to 20 seconds, depending on where you put it, to be able to react to what's happening. But it still cuts the same. It cuts a little bit more economy because you have to send the probe all the way across from the map. So what we'll do to determine, like, this is still 10 gate, but what we'll do to determine how much time is wasted by it not being proxied is we'll just see how long it takes for the Zealot to get to my side of the map first. Alright, so 347, let's just call it 345, the Zealot is at the ramp. At 345, oh, and he doesn't even, like, go all the way across. So when there's a 10 gate, alright, so this is a lot less scary than a it's a lot less scary than a proxy 10 gate, and it's a lot less all in as well. It's just designed to be a pressure build, and by having the 10 gate in your main base, you allow the Terran player to have a lot more time to react. And in that case, what we would be doing is to build a bunker and 2 depots to wall off. So it's still the same aggressive 10 gate, 2 zealots. He gets a mothership core out faster, but he also makes a stalker, so he's trying to be very, very aggressive. And my Reaper is able to like even start harassing the zealot before it reaches the other side of the map, which is great. You want to get him as weak as possible. And since this isn't completely all in, and I do have a lot more time to react to it, because he's moving his units across the map, I started my command center in the base and I finished my reactor, and I did not add a second barracks because I don't need that second barracks as early, and I can get away, like, I can just get away with adding the second command center if it's not proxied. And watch how well this wall works. I guess, so, we've seen 3 games of 10 gates so far, proxy and unproxy, and by the looks of it, it appears that getting 2 zealots and then at least 1 stalker is the optimal build. And it's either 2 zealots and 2 stalkers, or 2 zealots, a stalker, and a mothership core. Either combination of units that can allow the Protoss to be aggressive. Now, I've delayed my marine count. I just started producing marines out of my barracks, so let's see how well this works. All you have to do is raise the wall, and no economic damage has been taken. I have finished my expansion, and there's really nothing he can do either. I mean, he can like chip away at the supply depot with the stalker and the mothership core, but even then, I mean, I'd rather lose a depot than let the zealots get in and do a bunch of SCV damage. Yeah, and now I have 4 marines out. I've lost like 2 SCVs, one of them the scouting and another one building the command center. So I basically haven't been slowed down at all, and he's delayed his nexus by at least half a minute. And now this Reaper just gets to do free damage because he brought his mothership core all the way over to this side of the map, and then he used a time warp. Time warp can be dangerous, but you have to take into consideration the fact that if he does time warp, he wastes energy so that he can't recall back, and he cannot use a photon overcharge for almost a minute. So this mothership core is way out of position, and I need to scout anyway with this Reaper, so it's pretty standard. I'm not expecting it to do any damage. I just want to get information on what he's doing. But this is like, I already got 1 kill, and he has to do this because all of his units are completely out of position. I guess he didn't want to retreat because he didn't do any damage because I had this wall up. And even if he did stay here and he did start attacking the depots, that gave him a good reason for his units to stay here. My Reaper coming over here would be doing this much damage, so attacking the depots wouldn't be the best answer as well. He's just behind at this moment. So I was able to kill more workers with this Reaper than he was with the 10 gate, which is pretty insane. And as a result, I have an expansion up. His is just about to start mining, but I already have mine floating over. All my infrastructure's starting to kick in, and it's a relatively even game, if not the fact that I am ahead, because this Reaper is doing a crazy amount of damage. It gets 1 more probe kill before it dies. I saw 3 gates, so I thought that he was going to be doing a 3 gate. But you can really transition into anything, and he chooses to do DTs. But I ended up getting a turret. I guess I'll go. This isn't really part of a 10 gate. It's more about just general scouting and protecting your blind side. So this is alright. So we'll go back far enough to see the reaction. Since this is not a proxy 10 gate, your Reaper will see the units coming across the map, and it will give you enough time to either cancel your command center if you built it on the low ground, build it on the high ground, and also wall off at the same time. And I didn't even make like my second depot at the wall. That's how much time I have. And he's also being delayed because he's trying not to take too much damage from the Reaper. Alright, so the wall comes up. I have 2 Marines out by the time this hits. Now, once again, against a proxy 10 gate, it's a slightly harder to be able to get your wall off, but if you can start building your wall and you can get it far enough ahead, it's a lot better for the Zealots to be attacking depots than it is to be killing and attacking SCVs. And what I do and what Pulp does, we both scout after our racks finishes with the SCV, but if you're not able to react fast enough, just make a small modification and scout right before the racks finishes. So with your like 14th SCV or something, so you can see it faster. Let me just find the specific time really quickly. So it would be with this SCV as soon as it finishes. So it would be at about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and it's right before this racks finishes, because it lets you get to the Protoss base about 10 seconds faster, and that'll let you see the 10 gate, or at least the proxy pylon, and just the cybernetics core. I do scout over here this time because, like I said earlier on, it's just nice to. This is like the fastest location. You don't have time to scout the entire map, but if you scout this place, it's the fastest location that the Protoss can get their units from here to here, and you kind of do need to scout it. Otherwise, you won't be able to have your wall up in time. Since Hero's proxy was over here, we did see that Pult had enough time to wall off. He just chose not to. And that's because the rush distance, although significantly closer than having your gateway in here, was still far enough so that Pult had time to react. And as we can see here, I didn't even see the 10 gate or anything, but the fact that there's a fast Zealot and a Mothership Core already done means that there's some sort of early aggression build, and I can most likely guess that it's a 10 gate. Or at least a 13 gate with a Zealot and 2 Stalkers and a Mothership Core chronoed out. And that would always, any kind of fast Zealot, you want your command center on the low ground or on the high ground. If it's just a standard Zealot to block the engineering bay, then it's alright to build it on the low ground, and then you just build a bunker really fast. And you'll have enough Marines so that he can't really walk by the time that the pressure hits. And you'll also have secured your base. Oh yeah, so I almost forgot why we're watching this again. So this is what I see with my Reaper. At the same time while doing damage, I see a second gas being taken, and do I see the third gateway? Yep, I see 3 gateways and 2 gases being taken, and there's all 3 pylons over there. So I know it's not going to be an immediate proxy build, because all of his 3 pylons, and he made it really easy for me as well. All of his 3 pylons are right there. And that's how many pylons a Protoss is going to have when his Nexus finishes up. So basically, if he wants to proxy something, it's going to be off of his 4th pylon, which is over here, and I don't know about it. Since I don't know what he's doing, I have to prepare for everything. And one of the possibilities are that it could be a proxy Stargate. But the first thing I need to prepare for is the fact that I saw 3 gates and 2 gas, so he could be warping in a bunch of sentries and trying to do a 3 gate follow-up while macroing up, so that's why I built the second bunker. And I'm also building the engineering bay because it's about the standard time that you do build an engineering bay. Of course, it's later. A turret would already be done by now if it was a normal game, but everything has been delayed because it's proxy 10 gate pressure. So I built, I don't know, like 3 gates. I don't know if it's a Stargate or not. So far the Reaper, it saw 2 Zealots, 2 Stalkers, so I have a feeling it's not going to be a 3-gate pressure because he didn't have a single sentry. So I build the turret just as a precaution, honestly. It's a lot cheaper to build a turret than it is to save up scans. I'm also saving up scans as well, just in case he was rushing DTs. And now that the turret's almost done, I can drop my mules safely. And then the next, also another possibility, is a proxy oracle. That's why I leave my 6 marines in the main base so that they can quickly defend my mineral line. You need 6 marines at the minimum, sometimes 5, but that's kind of iffy. It depends who gets the first shot off. But 6 is the solid number so that no matter what happens, they will be able to stop an oracle. And so I'm leaving my units here. And I'm also leaving them here in case of a warp prism attack as well. He could be warping in units, or he could have made a proxy warp prism and then warp in like a sanctuary or something and then try to bust me. So it's just a good idea. And I also have 1 marine out here to spot for any possible frontal aggression attacks. So what that does is if he does attack me, he's gonna have to kill this marine first, and that'll give me enough time to either react and go on the low ground, or if I see maybe blink stalkers, stay on the high ground and build a couple bunkers. And I'm also preparing for blink because I don't know what he's doing. This marine amazingly gets to his base. I see 1 gas being taken. Hold on. Yeah. That was a bit awkward, but I'm not day 9. I don't have my own place or anything. Alright, so this marine amazingly scouts double forges, and there's a cannon going up, and there's a 3rd gas being taken, so he's doing some sort of macro build, so I can move out pretty safely. Although, like, since his DTs are so delayed, I do make the mistake of not leaving any units in the bunker, and the DTs do a little bit of damage. There they are. I did kill that pylon, which was nice, so he wasn't able to warp from the DTs. And I do have scans saved up just in case. And because I saw the double forges, I'm going to do an aggressive attack to punish that. And it does alright. But the more important thing is that I get a lot of information on what he's doing. And like he double photon overcharge, I have to get out of there. So I don't lose too many units. Thank God. I lost like a marauder and a handful of marines. He did lose his mothership core, a couple probes, and a couple zealots as well. So this like I'm completely prepared for it. I have scans as well. I just mess up and I had my units on move command or something, and then I stim all my units. I think they were hotkeyed with this, and I made a mistake. But yeah, so I guess my main point I wanted to go over is the fact that I prepared for everything. I made a turret, I had a 2nd bunker, I made another bunker here in case of blink stalkers, and I had 6 marines in my main to shoo away any oracles. Alright, so that pretty much wraps up my VOD on how to deal with 10 gate pressure. Versus proxy 10 gates, you want to try to get the wall up as fast as possible. Versus a regular 10 gate, you don't need it. Like versus a proxy 10 gate, I would get the 2nd barracks and I would make a bunch of Reapers. But versus a 10 gate that comes from the opponent's main, I don't think you need to. I think you can get away with expanding normally inside your base. Sorry, my throat's dying. I need to stop soon. And getting what am I doing? And getting your wall up in time. As we saw, that I had plenty of time to get the wall up because his units took too long to get across the map. All right, I'm gonna